Okay, we've been hearing from a lot of you on the ground. We have Dan on the phone now. Dan, it sounds like you were there to try to help people on the ground. What did you see?
Yeah, so we were on I-5 South, and I saw the train go by Fort Lewis on the right-hand side. I noticed that it was going pretty fast, and I've never seen trains on that. They don't frequent that track super often, and so when we got to the stop traffic, we were about 20 cars back from the train bridge, and nobody really knew what was going on. And then I saw a train that looked like it was literally driving down the embankment. And I was like, oh, my gosh, the train just went off the tracks. Like, that's major. And I had just seen how fast it was going, so I knew that it was probably pretty serious. So we pulled off the exit and were able to get down onto the tracks. Nobody was there helping at that point. And so Alicia Hoverson and I climbed in the trains. There's about 8 trains. 3 of them stayed on the tracks. I think there's probably about 10 trains. Probably 8 of them came off the tracks. 3 of them are still on. Many of them are upside down. Some of them hit cars on I-5 South. There's a semi involved, and I think at least 3 pedestrian vehicles. So we went through the trains one at a time, made sure people were stable. If they could move, we got them out of the train. Some of them we couldn't because there was no ladders yet, or first responders for about 12 minutes. Some of them couldn't move. They had back or neck injuries, so we assigned people to stay there with them and keep them calm. And then we worked our way down to the more serious injuries where people were pinned underneath the trains that had flipped upside down. And unfortunately, there were some deceased. But we were able to unpin 3 of the most serious victims after about probably 45 minutes and get them out. Some of them walked out on their own strength, which is really good. Some of them had broken legs or broken ankles, and most of them had head trauma. But we were able to get, I think everybody's out of the accident by now.
Dan?
Can
I ask you, you said about 45 minutes it took you to get some of those people unpinned. How long were you in this train with your friend helping people before first responders got there?
Oh, man. I think since 7:45 a.m. we're still here.
But how long were you there on your own before you were there with first responders, before they were able to get to the scene? Helping people by
probably 25 minutes.
Okay.
You sound so calm. It's just incredible. It must be adrenaline because you were just in the trenches with that.
I'm an Eagle Scout, and they taught me a lot about first aid. And they train you how to respond in these situations, and they teach you to stay calm and to talk to people and to calm them down and to be a peacemaker in kind of a crazy situation. So I did my best. I tried to use what they taught me in Boy Scouts, and it really, I think it was able to help a lot of people.
Now, Dan, we're looking at pictures here from your brother, Drew. He just was posting these on his Twitter account. It looks like you were up on the bridge. So, I mean, tip of the cap and a heroic effort to you, my friend. But in your estimation here, are we going to be talking about fatalities in this incident?
I don't know if it's appropriate to give numbers or anything, but I believe that there are some fatalities, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
So, and I don't know what I can disclose or not
That's
disclose.
okay. That's okay. We're not asking for the details, but just the severity of all of this. And from up above, it looks like some cars were crushed. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I don't believe there were any fatalities in the cars. So parents, if your kids were driving south, I think you're okay. But there were, I think, 3 pedestrian cars involved and 1 semi-truck involved in the crash. And I think they've been able to get everybody that was involved in the automobile portion of it out safely.
Dan, I just have to say, for the people who were on board, I'm on their behalf, thank you so much for your response.
Right.
Can you, if you don't mind, can you just take us back into those cars that you were going through one by one? Because I'm imagining those people, young and old, must have been so grateful to see you.
Yeah, they were pretty happy. Everybody was just, a lot of people have trouble breathing right after an incident like that. So that a lot of people were saying, oh, like this hurts or that hurts and I can't breathe. and you just say, breathe slowly. You're going to be okay. You're walking on your 2 feet. We're going to get you help. You look great. And we just kind of escorted people out. There were some people that were kind of in shock, just still sitting in the chairs in the train cars, and they weren't really in any danger at that point. So we just said, like, you're doing great. Like, don't try to move. You may have a back injury. We'll get you out of here. We're getting ladders and gurneys, and try to just make them feel safe and as comfortable as you can. And unfortunately, some of the other cars were more severe, and where people were pinned. And again, you just talk to them, and they have kids, they have wives, and you ask them, like, what's your kid's name? What's your wife's name? And they were all just really grateful that there's people there to help them. And some of them weren't super comfortable where in the positions they were in, unfortunately. But you know what? They're alive, and I think we've got them out. And
what made you run toward the scene there? A lot of people, most people don't do that. What made you run to those trains to help?
I knew I could help, and I knew nobody else would. And I knew that if I was in that position, pinned underneath a train car, I would want somebody to come help me. And I couldn't not help. And I know that I'm young, I'm strong, I can help carry people if that needs to be. I can dig people out. I can just talk to them and reassure them that everything's going to be okay. I can pray with people, and let them know that God's with them. And we prayed with a lot of people today, which was really cool. That was encouraging. And in a situation like this, you feel pretty small, but I think that when you realize God's in control, it's really calming, and there's a lot of peace in knowing that. So that gave me a lot of courage.
If you don't mind me asking, maybe it's too personal. I think it's too personal to say.
No, it's okay. I prayed for God to just be in the situation. Some of the cars were suspended, and as the firefighters and police officers were working to remove people, I was fearful that they might shift and injure more people or pin more people. So I was praying that God would stabilize the train cars and prevent any further injury. I was praying that God would just give the people that were involved peace and comfort, as I can only imagine how traumatizing it must be to be pinned underneath a train car, so I just prayed for peace, and I prayed that God would just help us get these people out. I think that was the majority of it. I just prayed for God to kind of be in the situation with us, helping us, and be a peacemaker in me, to try to calm people who are probably really scared. And that's really all you can do.
If you're just now joining us, we're talking with Dan Konzelman, who was on I-5 when this Amtrak train, don't go anywhere, Dan, when that Amtrak train jumped the tracks there at Mounts Road, but about 8 a.m. this morning, just before that. And Dan ran into the wreckage to try to comfort and rescue anyone that he could see, him and his brother pulling passengers from the train, pulling drivers out of their cars. Just a remarkable, heroic effort. You cannot call it anything less.
I mean, a guardian angel, honestly. What else can you say? That you and your brother would go into those cars one by one long before apparently first responders were even able to get there, because you were just in the right place at the right time. Is your brother standing next to you?
Actually, my brother wasn't with me. It was Alicia Hoverson, and my girlfriend. She is here with me. Okay. Alicia, do you want to say something?
Hi. I mean, I'm not trained. I'm not an Eagle Scout or a Girl Scout or anything, but all I could do was run in with Daniel and pray with people. I was able to help carry people down some of the steep hills right after the tracks had ended. And, as Daniel was carrying people out of the trains, I was just there to be a peace and a calm with people, just praying with everyone, and groups of people gathering together, just encouraging each other. And a lot of people were just so grateful and thankful that we could just be there to keep them calm and be with them and pray with them and give them God's peace. That was all we really could do. That's all I could do, and that's what I was doing. I think everyone was just so grateful.
When you go up to a scene like that, you don't know what you're going to face. All you see is the trains are off the tracks. You have no idea when you arrive there that there are people and what they're going to need. When you entered those cars, Alicia, and you saw what you saw, and you jumped into action, I mean, tell us what's going through your mind, and how you were able to help those people, what you said to them, what they said to you. Just, can you walk us through that quickly?
Yeah, there were some people sitting on the tracks, and I just knew that, I mean, I'm trained as a lifeguard, and I know some CPR, but I knew that that wouldn't get me too far in this situation, so all I knew and all I could do was pray and be with them, and I started carrying people. As Daniel said, we're both young and strong, and I was able to just put people under my arm and just carry them down the hill to the first responders, because a lot of the first responders were starting to show up at that time. So we got them down the hill and under the green tents and green tarps that people were able to sit down and calm down. And a lot of people were using my cell phone to call home if they could remember their numbers. A lot of people didn't have their purses or luggage with them.